another beautiful morning from Margaritaville in downtown Nassau. Coming up this morning, the Jubilee in Pompey Square's night market and concert series comes to an end with the best in Bahamian food and music. Plus, Our Moments puts on the spotlight on the 40-year journey of COB, now University of the Bahamas. And excellence in hospitality on display this morning. We highlight some outstanding employees of Margaritaville Resort. Our news this morning comes your way right now.
This is Our News This Morning with Nakia DeVoe-Christie, Jerome Sawyer, Talia Hall.
Good morning, Bahamas, and welcome to Our News This Morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. I'm your host, Nakia DeVoe-Christie, and we are so happy to welcome to the set my co-anchor this morning, Talia Hall. No stranger to you guys. Good morning, Talia.
Good morning, Nakia. It's an honor to be here all week. I've seen everybody step into the chair, and you've been doing a great job. I must admit, it was a bit early because, you know, usually I'm in the evenings, but it's an honor to be here.
Yeah, a little different for you, hey?
Yeah. Being on this side of it is a bit different, but I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be here on the desk with you. So I can't believe it's already been a week. That means we're at the end of our week-long morning show, but it's been nothing but fun for all of us here and so special to have all of you at home waking up with us. We've also had some wonderful reunions this week with some familiar faces of our TV back on the desk as we count down to the 50th independence and celebrate 20 years of Our News. 20 years. Now, Talia, you are one of the newer members of the Our News family, all the way from Grand Bahama. Good morning, Grand Bahama.
Good morning, Grand Bahama.
They've been watching. Yes, they've been watching us.
Supporting us, but it's been great.
Yeah, Talia, already you fit right into the family. What's your journey been like so far?
So far, it's been a great experience, you know, being from Grand Bahama, a smaller island, well, in terms of people that is, and coming to the capital. You know, news is a bit different, faster, but I've been able to adjust and adapt really quickly. And so for that, you know, alone, it's been good.
Yeah, and you know, I've worked with some of the crew before. Some of them are new, so hopefully they're not stressing you out too much. You're having a good time. It's a good run.
Kanye, I just don't know, but it's been good so far.
Oh, that's great. And being from Grand Bahama, what's been that moment for you, you know, that just makes you proud to be Bahamian representing the second city?
You know, I feel as if Grand Bahama is a small group of people, but to see the accomplishments rather that we make in terms of you have Buddy Heel, John Quell Jones, you know, and myself, and being able to come here and show our talents and show that we have a great pool of people from that island.
Yeah, that's great. But we've had nothing but beautiful Margaritaville the past 4 mornings, and this morning is no different. You know, Bahamians like to party and celebrate, and 50 years of independence deserves a big, big party. So hopefully the weather holds up this weekend, Talia.
I pray. I pray. I'm looking forward to all of the festivities. Are you going to go out or?
Yes, I'm going to go to Junkanoo. I'm going to go enjoy. We'll see if I take my sons out to the tattoo. We'll see how that part goes.
All right, well, let's hope Greg made contact with the man upstairs. Meteorologist Greg Thompson joins us now for your first look at the forecast. Greg?
Yeah, you gave me a call earlier this morning, yeah. We are looking for some very nice weather over the next couple of days. Hot, but very nice weather. Junkanoo-wise and Independence celebration-wise. Right now, though, it's a steamy morning outside our studios, 80 degrees. The winds are out of the southeast at 5 knots. Still light, but they're expected to pick up later on today. And that relative humidity is very rich, 78%. So it's making it feel a lot more humid on the outside. Sunrise is at 6:25 this morning. Will set at 8:03 this evening. Taking a look at radar across our area, we have some showers and some isolated thunderstorms across the Abacos as well as the Berry Islands. Grand Bahama, you guys are seeing some of the action as well. Most of the activity will be due to the heating of the day, and we expect showers and thunderstorms to continue through the remainder of the day. Satellite view, we do have a weak disturbance near the northern islands. That's the reason why we're having some of these showers. But we have a lot of Saharan dust that's been moving across the southeast and central Bahamas. So drier conditions across the expected for the next several days. But that dry air mass will be moving into the northern islands. So we are looking for those hot temperatures. And once again, we're urging you residents, take necessary short breaks if you plan on doing anything on the outdoors, and make sure you stay hydrated. Drink lots of water over the next several days. That's a look at our weather. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Greg. And we'll see you a bit later for the extended forecast so we could really know what we could expect as we count down to independence. And speaking of independence, we've been dressed for the occasion all week, outfitted by some notable Bahamian clothing brands. We've had outfits from Bahari, Eyes of Bahamian Bay, and Bahama Handprints. And you're looking lovely in your Bahama. Thank you.
I like how you put it all together.
Well, you see, I've been wearing the fly colors all week, but today I took my inspiration from the flamingo.
Okay.
So I came with my nice Bahama Handprints pink. We want to thank them all again for helping us look our best every morning. To see some of our best looks, you can head on over to Our News Bahamas Facebook page. And speaking of Eyes of Bahamian Bay, Italia, how do you spell Bay?
For me, I was asked this question earlier this week. For me, it's B-U-I.
It's B-U-I.
I don't know what is the B-E-Y.
B-E-I is
other
bay,
variations
right?
of it. I don't know what it is.
The word is bay, right? So if, you know, B-E-Y is bay.
Right.
So, you know,
what
anyway.
is bay? What is it? Bay. I don't know. Just a Bahamian.
Just boy. But, you know, anyway.
All right. Well, we're just getting started in our news this morning. It's time for your first run of the headlines. Saturation patrols by the Royal Bahamas Police Force leading to a drop in crime on New Providence, according to National Security Minister Wayne Munro. Munro broke down the numbers by division in yesterday's weekly press briefing.
Freetown has seen a decrease of 38%. And year-to-date, crime decreases in the Fox Hill Division has fallen by 42%. And in Carmichael, which represents the largest policing division, that has fallen by 26%.
While residents in North Andros are not only dealing with power issues, but water as well. Now, Wednesday's catastrophic fire that totally destroyed BPL's power plant in Nicholstown, North Andros, also impacting the area's water supply. Deputy Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Keishla Adderley, says a new generator is needed to correct the issue.
The well fields, as you may know, were also affected by this situation, and it's been determined that a new generator at a cost of about $88,000. It's being proposed that a new generator will have to be put in place to completely resolve the issue there of water generation.
The Bahamas Museum of Junkanoo officially opened at the Nassau Cruise Port Thursday night. Port CEO Mike Marr Jr. says his team collaborated with experts on the historical significance, meaning and cultural significance of our biggest expression of culture. He says the location selected for the museum was no coincidence.
With millions of visitors arriving in Nassau annually, we wanted to place a special part of our culture and heritage steps away from the busiest tourism gateway in the Bahamas, and that gateway being right behind me. And the fact is that visitors to our Bahamas are in search of authentic experiences, and our own Junkanoo Museum most certainly will satisfy that need.
While a Junkanoo rush-out performance from the National Youth Choir and spoken words from Arlene Nash Ferguson helped to open the museum, Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper calling it a proud moment.
And indeed, this museum should be a celebration that we are all excited about. And I call this edutainment because I believe this is not just going to be entertainment, this is going to be education as well.
And Bahari Pop-Up Shop making its way to Grand Bahama this week. Representative Davina Rutherford says Bahari brought lots of unique pieces from their 10th Independence collection, which she says aligns perfectly with the country's 50th anniversary.
Customers can continue to expect luxury, uniqueness, and cutting edge. And, you know, Bahari always has surprises up their sleeves, so just keep following.
Well, thanks for that, Italia. Be sure and stay tuned to ournews.bs for all the latest news and entertainment. But listen, first it was that catastrophic fire, now the water outage as a result. We're just very hopeful for the residents of North Andros. We're thinking about all of you this morning. We really hope that you can get that power and water situation resolved soon. Fingers crossed for
Fingers
them.
crossed. I know that it was announced that there should have been power as of yesterday or last night, so hopefully things are a bit easier for residents there on that
And
island.
we hope so that they can get into the Independence weekend smoothly. Now, it's now time for your morning fix of the mix. Our News This Morning correspondent Danielle Miller has been keeping us in the know about all things Independence with events around town.
Right, and this morning she brings our Mix and Mingle segment to an end with an up-close look at last night's Jubilee night market that came to a close in Pompey Square. And Danielle, we saw you last night and you were having a grand old time and even pulling some moves.
Yeah, last night they did catch me. I was dancing. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself. As you can see, if you watched the newscast last night, I was able to get Bloody on the side of me, and he had me moving even though he was not performing. But last night, we did have performances from Bodine, the Falcon Band, and Puzzle. Puzzle was so hype, he even jumped down from the stage and was in the crowd performing. So the night market definitely ended with a bang. And it was impossible for you to be out there and not bust a move. I'm so sorry. But of course, I have to shine the spotlight on all of the vendors that were out there, and the organizers made it their business to ensure that Bahamian talent was showcased every night. So every night there were different vendors out there on the scene. I encountered persons that were selling t-shirts. I encountered persons that were selling jewelry lines, as well as paintings, as well as cup coasters. And also there was a young lady who wrote a book on mythical creatures in the Bahamas. So shout out to all of the creatives out there making their way during the 50th Independence. And I was also so proud to be a Bahamian throughout those nights of the market, because the colors were in full bloom. I mean, the Bahamian t-shirts, the different variety of shirts that were out there, our people really showed out and showed off. And I believe that this should be a staple during our independence celebrations. And that was your morning fix of the mix.
Thanks so much, Danielle. Well, I am also so proud and excited to see all of the celebrations. Bahamians have really been getting ready for this 50th anniversary celebration. And speaking of, this year's celebrations of independence will involve many who witnessed or participated in the original events as youngsters.
All right, and from a young boy just happy to be a part of an independence show to now the director of the 50th anniversary show, our Jasmine Brown brings us the story of a participant turned producer.
In 1973, Philip Burrows was a 16-year-old student at Aquinas College. The school's boys' choir won the National Arts Festival that year and were automatically selected to participate in the Independence Cultural Show.
That evening was just incredible. I mean, and talk about a front row seat, because the stage is here and the choir is here. And then everybody else is off in the distance. And I remember Sidney Poitier walking across the field, and I remember all the cars pulling up and all the dignitaries. They had brought in lights that we had never seen before, and for how Fort Charlotte was lit up. And it was quite a magical evening to be there, and it really then hit you as those flags exchanged and that whole thing happened. It was quite a moment.
That experience was so profound for Burrows, he went on to dedicate his life's work to producing and directing. Today, the artistic director of Ring Play Productions is one of the creatives behind the 50th anniversary show.
It's interesting, you know, being in that show 50 years ago, and 50 years right now I'm directing the show that's happening on the 9th. I've done a number of them over the years, but it's really interesting to sit back as we have discussions. You know, we have a team led by Fred Ferguson, and a bunch of us sit there and we work out how this show is going to happen, because we're responsible for it. And it's interesting to know that, you know, 50 years ago, as we sat there and we watched those two gentlemen, you know, raise the flag and the flag come down and the flag go up, it's quite a surreal kind of thing, you know. First of all, 50 years, man, Reporting
for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, thanks for that, Jasmine. That was a great story, and that's been so wonderful about this week, hearing all of these great stories, talking to people who have been so inspiring, been inspired by that move to independence. You know, I've heard so many wonderful stories, and I actually get emotional. You know, I wasn't there for the experience, but the way they talk about it, and many people that I've spoken to, they actually cried while telling their stories, which caused me to tear up as well. So that was another special story. Thanks again for that, Jasmine.
Yes, great story, Jasmine.
Well, a quick shout out to all the Bahamian creatives out there from all of us at Our News This Morning. Keep dreaming, keep believing, but most of all, just keep creating. Italia, thank you again for waking up with us this morning. We'll see you back in the mid-morning run of the headlines. And when we come back, Jerome is in the chair for our second half of the show as we take a look at Sip and Dine at Margaritaville with Megan Shepherd. And Bahamian music sensation Carissa Smith joins us this morning with a performance of a Bahamian hit you don't want to miss.
Plus, your mid-morning run of the headlines. You're watching Our News This Morning live from Margaritaville. Stay with us. We're back right after this break.
Resort in historic downtown Nassau, and we are 3 days out from the 50th anniversary of independence. This is Our News This Morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us. Well, back in the chair with me this morning is our TV executive producer Jerome Sawyer. Jerome, welcome back. Can you believe it's been a whole week? We did it.
My body tells me that every morning when I have to wake up at 3 o'clock.
We've made it.
Yes, and thank you. You've been doing a wonderful job.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm so happy to be back. To see everybody come back in the chair. I wish we had a longer time. I don't know if it would have been me every morning, but to see a lot more of the, those from Newsbreak, from NB12, and Our News to get together on the set in the mornings.
It really has been a family reunion.
Yeah, 20 years. Can you believe it?
I know. I can feel it.
Yeah. Well, it's another beautiful morning here at Margaritaville, and we're so happy for this view. We've had great views, but more than just beautiful views of tropical luxury, we got a taste of some of the best food on the island.
Now, I can tell you Megan Shepherd cannot cook, but she's put on a chef's hat this morning, so let's take a look to see what she's come up with.
We do run a breakfast buffet that has a full Bahamian corner, where every day there is something new and different Bahamian-wise. There's usually a South offering. There is always steamed sausages. There's always grits. Their options are also there. But we have full American buffet breakfast as well. So you can get your omelets, you can get pancakes, you can get French toast, you can get a collection of those things. We have hummus. We do have smoked salmon on that buffet as well. Or if you're very healthy, we have salad. We always have assorted breads. There's always a pastry setup as well. We look forward to you enjoying breakfast with us to celebrate independence.
But if you're anything like me, coffee is always a great option any time of the day.
Joe Merchant's is Imagine Starbucks on steroids. At Joe Merchant, you're going to end up getting from us, we have coffees, we have breakfast sandwiches, we have fruit bowls, but there's also a full display case that would serve beers and wines. If you want to get some nice champagne, you want anything grab and go, you can get from there as well.
And when it comes to lunch offerings, Margaritaville has you covered. If you want to enjoy your food and drinks poolside, Sandra says you definitely want to check out 12 Faults.
You get really great cocktails, views of the ocean, you're on the outside. We open up until 10 p.m. every night. Frank and Lola's is our newly opened Italian restaurant where we serve pastas and pizzas.
My independence confession is that I have never cleaned a fish, I've never seasoned a fish, and I've never fried a fish. And so Chef Calvin here is going to give me the step-by-step tutorial for our 50th anniversary of independence on how to cook a snapper. What do I do first?
The first thing, you're going to cut it open.
Score it up.
Score it up. Get the salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Got the lime.
This is a hard lime.
All right, now we let it sit about a fryer. So we'll take it to the fryer.
Take it to the oh Lord. Get it in there. Shake it off.
Shake it.
The most I can do is drop this in the basket. Shake it some more. Yay!
hungry now, so thanks so much for that, Megan. Now, after Jerome's comment, I'll try to fish, but not the one Megan put there in
Don't bother with that. Do not bother. Actually, I had breakfast here at the resort yesterday, and I know one morning I was talking about sausage and grits. And so they have sausage and grits, tuna and grits. There's also chicken sauce. I have to admit, I had a little bit of everything.
Oh, my goodness.
But it was really good. It was very authentic.
Yeah, after that, now is a perfect time to send special thanks to nutrition Donovan Ingram, who wrapped up our What's on Your Plate breakfast plate segment with Danielle yesterday, and a lot of those things you said you ate, he said not to. They really did a wonderful job walking us through healthy alternatives and the need for mindful eating, Jerome.
Absolutely. Well, for some of us, it's not most, or if not most of us, the first thing we do in the mornings is grab our phones and start scrolling. It's how we keep up with what's happening around us, and it's certainly no different for us here in the morning. It's time now to see what's coming up in our news this morning. Scroll.
Alive is going live. We came across this post from Alive, which will be going live on Facebook at 1 o'clock this afternoon for an all-Bahamian live stream. Show your pride, play some games, and win big. You'll have trivia questions from Bahamian citizenship test creator Ashley Roll.
So, you know, good opportunity to really get into the independence flow with Alive. They got a lot of great packages as well. So if you are alive, now's the time to get involved. The World Express tweeting about former world high jump champion Donald Thomas, who cleared a season's best of 2.28 meters this week, confirming his selection for the World Athletics Outdoor World Track and Field Championships taking place August 19th through the 27th in Budapest, Hungary.
I can't believe that he is still out there competing. Good for him.
And competing at such a high level.
At a high level. And at Simon_Best, discovering a literal bat cave whilst last-minute key snorkeling in the Bahamas. He says he was unusually excited by this. I don't know if bats make people excited, but...
You know, there are lots of bat caves here.
Yeah.
I went into one time in Crooked Island. I won't tell you what happened, but I don't plan to go back. Yes. And at Caleb Bowers 44 posting his Bahamian beach workout with at Brady_Bricker doing some sister squats at the sandbar. Now, from this video, I can tell you who ain't gonna be doing them kind of squats.
I like squats.
You're an athlete,
yes,
so
I enjoy
squats are very effective.
And I like the sandbar, but I will not be combining both.
Yeah,
yes.
working on the sand is tough. Me talking like I'm some kind of expert. Go ahead.
And finally, more than meets the eye. Talk about a flashback. Friend of the show, Siobhan Johnson, posting about this picture her dad just dropped in their family group chat. It shows her 1995 win of the Miss College of the Bahamas title.
Siobhan is my friend.
Yeah,
Sis, when I see you, it's on. But it's, you know, this just goes to show you that Bahamians have been doing so many great things, but now is the time for us to remember our achievements.
Reflect,
and if you're looking on social media, people are posting so many things about the achievements that they have been able to accomplish in these 50 years. And so it's always exciting when I see things. I know Siobhan, I had no idea. She's a former beauty queen.
I had no idea either, and it's interesting to see that flashback from Siobhan, because in this next installment of Our Moments, we learn how the availability of education for all Bahamians was one of the major priorities of the government 50 years ago.
Wow, well, they wasted no time expanding the educational offerings. 2 years into independence, in December of 1974, the College of the Bahamas was officially launched, officially opening its doors to students in January of 1975. You wasn't born yet, hey?
No, not
It's just one of our moments in independence history, brought to you by the Bahamas Independence Secretariat. The College of the Bahamas itself was established through a 1974 Act of Parliament. But the road to tertiary education began long before and faced many hurdles. Prior to the mid-21st century, there were few educational opportunities for Bahamians. From 1940 onward, few had access to secondary education. Following a 4-year hiatus, in 1961, the Bahamas Teachers College reopened in Nassau. In 1968 came the San Salvador Teachers College, and by 1971, the C.R. Walker Technical College opened. These institutions were absorbed into the college, operationalized into one institution in September of 1975. The urgency for a tertiary institution became more pronounced as independence approached. A policy of Bahamianization, birthed by majority rule in 1967, sought to make Bahamians full participants in the workforce as skilled laborers and professionals. The individuals could and should be educated at the National College, but skeptics in the early days called it an impossible dream. The Bahamianization of the college began immediately. In 1976, Dr. Roger Brown became the first registrar of the college. By 1979, 4 years into her tenure, Keva Bethel was appointed vice principal. In 1982, Dr. Keva Bethel became the first Bahamian woman to become the principal of the college. A 1995 amendment to make COB an independent institution made the late Dr. Bethel the first woman president. On November 10, 2016, COB became the University of the Bahamas. Through its decades of struggle, the college survived and thrived. 40 years later, it became what we know as the University of the Bahamas.
Jerome, you've brought us some wonderful moments this week. I really enjoyed all of them. And if you haven't seen all of them, I encourage you to check out our news Facebook page and catch up on those.
Let me tell you what has been so inspiring for me. Just delving into the research and learning so much. Obviously, in television, you can only have so much time to tell the story, but there's so much history and either forgotten or unknown history about our country and institutions and people. And so it was an honor. And, you know, I do want to tell people that our moments and our people, those specials, they're going to continue beyond independence, because we believe in continuing to educate our people and remind us of who we are and why we should be so proud.
That's great news. I'm glad to hear that. Well, when our news this morning continues, we've got a check on headlines in your mid-morning run.
Plus, an outstanding Bahamian joins us on our news couch. He's a senior executive at a global airline. Tickets for everybody.
Oh, yes, I'm ready. Summertime, too. And Bahamian music sensation Carissa Smith performs when our news this morning continues.
Welcome back to our news this morning. Thank you so much for joining us and staying with us. I'm Jerome Sawyer.
And I'm Natalia Hall with your mid-morning run of the headlines.
The Sexual Offences Amendment Bill 2023 is not a campaign against husbands or an attack on the institution of marriage. That's according to Law Reform Commissioner Dame Anita Allen. She says this at a forum of civil servants held to discuss the proposed bill on Wednesday afternoon, explaining that to call it a marital rape bill could be inaccurate. We spoke with her after the forum.
Of course, there are other proposals in the bill in relation to consent, to clarification of the meaning of consent and what is and what is not a defense to a charge of rape. So yes, I think that the bill was well received today, and hopefully all of the comments will inform our decisions relative to, how we could improve the bill going forward.
Well, the City of Freeport Council unveiled its Road to Independence exhibit at the C.A. Smith Building this week, displaying pivotal moments in Bahamian history over the past 50 years. Chief Counselor for the City of Freeport Council, Frazette Gibson.
What we decided, our contribution as the City of Freeport Council, the Road to Independence exhibit. And so what we did is we did months of research with the Department of Archives on what we should display on how we got to independence in 1973. And so our journey took us back to 1963 with the signing of our first written constitution that came into effect January 7th, 1964 with internal self-government.
Well, Freeport Administrator Kenwood Cartwright encouraging residents to come and view the historical exhibit, while Donald Glass, chairman of the Freeport Hotel Licensing Board, says it brought back fond memories.
councillors wanting to do something different for this road to 50. They didn't want to just say where we are now. They wanted to speak a little to how we got here, who were the persons that were behind it, those that helped to frame the Constitution when the money changed from the pound to the dollar.
I remember as a senior in high school, I had to be the one of those converting from pound sterling to dollars, and the principal was telling us, hurry up, right? Because we were trying to do the calculations, so it brought back some memories. And then, of course, Black Tuesday. I remember that very distinctly.
And I'll be
councillor for this road to 50. They didn't want to just say where we are now. They wanted to speak a little to how we got here, who were the persons that were behind it, those that helped to frame the Constitution when the money changed from the pound to the dollar.
And I remember as a senior in high school, I had to be the one of those converting from pound sterling to dollars, and the principal was telling us, hurry up, right? Because we were trying to do the calculations, so it brought back some memories. And then, of course, Black Tuesday. I remember that very distinctly.
And we apologize for that technical difficulty, but to see that story again and for all of the latest news, visit ournews.bs. Remember, you can share all of your favorite stories right from the Our News Bahamas Facebook page.
It's been such an exciting week to hear all the nostalgic stories, even pre-independence, because I think it's important for us to remember that the journey began before 1973. Imagine having to convert pounds to dollars.
Yeah, I chose that soundbite, and it was just interesting to hear that story. I wasn't there, but to hear that you had to take part in that activity in school, that's
and to learn the national anthem as an adult. Can you imagine? Well, we've been coming to you live from the Margaritaville Beach Resort this entire week, and we got to learn so much about the new property, from the tropical luxury to the upgrades for the soon-to-open British Colonial Hotel, and of course, the Fins Up Water Park, where we saw our Joshua Williams conquer his fear of diving. If you missed it, go online and see it. It's one of the quintessential funny moments of the week.
Yes, but more than just fun in the sun. We also learned about a wide range of employment opportunities. This morning, we featured just a few of the people who helped the resort to function in their diverse roles. Let's take a look.
You or let's get someone else. If I can't do it, I'll find that person that can do it, okay? Once again, welcome to the Margaritaville, baby. Woo!
That's just a little sample of the energy among staff members at the Margaritaville Beach Resort. Pool and beach attendant Lakeisha Lewis has been a part of the resort for 2 years.
This is like my comfort zone. When I come to work, pardon me for me being so emotional, because I'm a very emotional individual. So when I come to work, my expectation is to make sure my guests have an awesome stay.
And as for what drives her to be the employee that she is,
100% service.
For those guests attending the various restaurants on the property, here's Evelina Petterman, who's usually behind the scenes preparing meals.
And we are julienne cut the peppers, okay?
This is a julienne cut.
You get to feel and touch everything. And when you be a cook, you get the feels, you get the touch, you get the, a lot of things. It's like a chemistry stuff.
Right. And what advice would you give to other cooks? Because you really got to put the love into
Right.
What advice would you give to others?
Well, it's not just a job. It's not all about the money. It's that you really, really have to put your effort into it. What keeps me going is that each day you reach to work and everybody is jolly and happy. You're coming to work to don't care what's happening. You're coming to work to make sure that we are happy or everybody is happy.
Another notable employee is manager Carla Quare, who works in the communications department. She is the resort's leader of the year.
I'm actually in charge of a dual role. I'm in charge of the reservations team here, along with our call center operators. I've been in this role for about a year plus. And I just do all of the day-to-day operations with all our operators, making sure we close those sales for reservations team as well.
Now, Quare has been promoted twice in 1 year, which she says shows that the company truly believes in their employees.
I feel as if being recognized is something that definitely kept me motivated here. I do feel as if with being at Margaritaville, they do show that initiative and they do show that they prioritize their employees, and without pressure, they don't create diamonds.
All right, Jerome. That was a very touching story.
Very, very touching.
To conduct those interviews and to see that employee come to tears. You know, it really shows the hard work and dedication that exists in some of the employees that work here.
Because of the amount of time that we've spent on this resort this week, whether it be the morning news or the evening news, I've moved around quite a bit, and I can tell you every experience, every interaction with every employee on this property has been a positive one, and congratulations to them. It's just been a wonderful experience for me as a Bahamian, because, you know, sometimes we could be a little shady with our people.
Will do.
That's another story.
All right. Well, again, a special congratulations to all those employees for their hard work and excellence in Bahamian hospitality.
Well, much more to get to in a moment, including more Bahamian sports, entertainment. We've got all of that. But for now, Nikia is already on the Our News couch this morning with our next guest. Nikia, good morning again from over on the couch. You've been on the couch all week. I didn't get to sit there at all.
Thanks. I am happy to be joined this morning by a young millennial. He has had quite the journey, which recently saw him become a senior executive at Delta Airlines. Please welcome Lawrence Rigby. Thanks so much for waking up so early to be with us on your vacation, right?
I'm on vacation and I'm up early, right?
So, Lawrence, I don't know if this is going to embarrass you or whatever, because we're here to talk about your big-time position, right? But what I have to tell all of you out there is I first met Lawrence as an intern at NB12 when Our News was NB12. Yeah. And so I was there bossing him around, you know, and now I guess he could, you know.
And I believe we almost share the same birthday, September 28th.
I am the 28th as well, so we have the same birthday. So, but you were recently appointed at Delta to the position of Head of Communications for Global Flight Operations. Yeah. A Bahamian doing big things. Tell us, how did you get there?
Oh, well, you know, my pathway to Delta came through the aviation side of the house, the regulatory side of the house, via the FAA. So I spent a lot of time in the regulatory environment, and the opportunity to Delta came through sort of a contact who said there's a new position. Delta is looking to come out of the pandemic in a new way, and I think you would be a good fit for it. And so, you know, I had interviewed and applied, spoke to some senior management, and they said, hey, we would love to have you on board. And really, that's all to it.
You know, the aviation industry is quite complex, right? Yeah. Lots of moving parts. How do you navigate in an area like this? It seems so big.
Yeah, it's very, very big. You know, there are a lot of subject matter experts across the aviation sector. Again, I came from the regulatory side of the house, and speaking with folks in our sort of network and planning and understanding the work they do day in and day out, airport customer service, in-flight service, and just acquiring knowledge on a day-to-day basis, and you're putting that into a strategy for the company and for the operation overall. So yeah.
So what I want you to do is just give young Bahamians out there, right, who may not have opened their mind to anything outside of the Bahamas, you know, who think that, you know, the best they could do is just right here at home, which is great. Yeah. But there are also positions looking for qualified international employees, and Bahamians are out there making waves all over the world. What advice would you have for young Bahamians in school right now who may not know what their career path is, or who knows that they want to do something great?
Right. I would just say stay focus on honing in your skills, right? Every set of experience you sort of acquire across, whether it's through internships, you know, fellowships at these organizations, take advantage of those. You're building critical hours that is impactful and will help you along the way. I would also say, and this might be a bad word, but don't rush to come home during the summer. Take advantage of working for these companies and these organizations. They have a lot of internship programs. When I you know, during my undergrad years, I was on a student visa. And so being on a student visa, you are allowed to work and intern. And those are usually the pathways that I've seen. And for a lot of other international students, to get involved in sort of the work of these major organizations.
Yeah, and you talked about, you know, not coming home for the summer, but you're here this summer, and we're happy to have you because you're here for the celebrations, right? You're on vacation, and you look the part. So tell us what you have planned while you're here to celebrate this wonderful occasion.
Well, catching up with mom and dad has been a big part, and I have my 2-year-old with me, so that's been the big joy for them. Nowadays, I'm just a glorified chauffeur.
Okay.
So, you know, her grandparents enjoy her, but we're looking forward to Junkanoo, and this will be her first Junkanoo experience as well. Okay. And I'm happy she's at the age now where she can sort of move around and dance, so yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is exciting as well, because now you're bringing your daughter here to experience during such a cultural, wonderful time, right? And what do you want her to know about the past 50 years of Bahamian independence?
That's a good question. I want her to know that she's come from a bloodline of a sort of a strong and resilient people. The Bahamas is a resilient place. Our young people are resilient. There are a lot of things that frustrate young people in this country, but you shouldn't lose and give up hope, right? So I want her to know that as she grows up and becomes a young, productive adult, that she comes from a very, very strong people. So yeah.
Strong and talented,
and talented,
right? And speaking of that, when people that you come across in your line of work hear that you're from the Bahamas, are they surprised?
Yeah, first question I get is, what are you doing here, right? Folks want to know, you've left the Bahamas to come here, and I always tell them, listen, opportunities are abound, and the Bahamas, we export our people, we export our opportunities, and so I'm happy to do my part in that way to represent our country.
And what do you tell them about our country? What is the first thing when they ask you, oh, what's it like? What's the first thing you say?
Well, my go-to is, that God was sort of showing off when he created the Bahamas.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And outside of being an international employee, being taken away from your home, the comforts, the good weather, all this stuff. I'm sure as a millennial there are also other challenges in the workplace.
Yeah.
Have you faced any of those, and how do you overcome them?
So I think my approach to it has always been to look at folks that are more senior to me in my organization and pick up the experiences they have and see how I can apply it in sort of a new and refreshed way. I've had the good fortune of working in Washington, D.C., and most folks, when they think of Washington, D.C., they understand the power and sort of what the American empire looks like. But there are a lot of 20, 25-year-olds running Washington, D.C., and so my point is there are a lot of opportunities for young people, and you can't be sort of stifled by that, if you will, and using that energy to sort of advance your goals and your mission, and just sort of moving forward from that direction. Yeah.
Well, that leads me right into the next question that I wanted to ask you. What do you think the biggest misconception is about millennials? There are lots of them, but which one do you think is the biggest?
That we're impatient.
Okay.
We're impatient. But again, I think it'll go back to sort of, again, just that buildup of young energy, and we have to put that to work. So,
and let's get back to here at home. Do you think that we do a good job of promoting young Bahamians? And if not, what can we see more of, right, to make sure that we're promoting our young, talented Bahamians?
I just think creating the opportunities. Folks at the top should consider creating more opportunities for our young people to be involved in nation building. As we talk about the next 50 years of the Bahamas, that is a big and an important point. We want young people in the Bahamas to be equipped for what the next 50 years of the Bahamas looks like. We talk about it, but what does it look like, right? From a national plan perspective, where do we see those areas of employment or those opportunities of leadership and cultural creation and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and your journey, who has inspired it, right? Because of course, yes, you're young and successful, but there had to be someone who you said, I want to be like that. Not necessarily I want that position, but who's inspired you?
I would just say my mom. My mom has been a big part of just approaching my work with diligence, and one of her mantras is to bloom where you're planted. And that means no matter how big or how small the task is, you want to do it and do it well. And hopefully your gifts will make room for you. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a great time chatting with you. But before we go, just any final words you want to say, especially to young Bahamians out there as we get ready to celebrate this amazing milestone.
Yeah. Keep being creative. Don't take no for an answer. Just find another door, find another window, climb through if you have to. Right. We have a mindset sometimes of big fish, small pond, or small fish in a big pond. Don't get caught up on that. Just swim. Just swim.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Lawrence, for being here. It's so good to see you.
Good seeing you again.
It's been a long time since we were sitting there in the newsroom at NB12, and I'm so proud of you, and I wish you all the best in the next 50 years of Bahamian greatness.
Same to you.
All right, and you guys stay with us because we have our Independence Special coming up, and it's being brought to you by the Bahamas Independence Secretariat. And this morning, we have a story of none other than the late Sir Lynden Pindling. Take a look.
The Right Honourable Sir Lynden Pindling is widely considered the father of our nation. On August 26, 2000, he passed away quietly at his Skyline Drive home at the age of 70. One of the longest-serving heads of government in the Commonwealth, he served as Prime Minister for 26 years, leading the country to independence. As Prime Minister, he served as a member of the House of Assembly for 41 consecutive years. The grandson of a Bahamian seaman, son of a retired policeman, he was born March 22, 1930, and attended government high school up to 1946. He became a junior sprint champion for the Bahamas. At the age of 18, Sir Lynden traveled to the University of London and obtained an LLB. He was called to the Bahamas Bar in 1953. The same year, he joined the Progressive Liberal Party and was elected in 1965 to the Southern District of New Providence. In the 1967 election, which ushered in majority rule, he ran for the Kemps Bay Andros constituency, which he represented until his resignation in 1997. Among his many accomplishments as Prime Minister, independence in 1973. He led his PLP party to consecutive victories in 67, 68, 72, 77, 82, and 87. Among his other notable achievements, he was chairman of the biennial Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting CHOGM in 1985, held in Nassau, hosting Queen Elizabeth on her 4th visit here. And among the recognition around the world he received, a 1973 honored Doctor of Laws from Howard University. Similar awards came from the University of Miami, Bethune-Cookman College, and Fisk University. He was also a member of the Queen's Privy Council in 76. And was elevated to Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George in 1983. Nassau's main airport was named in his honor in 2006. In his final speech to Parliament in July 1997, he said, "When all I did for good is put on the balance against all I did for ill, I hope that future generations will not find me sorely wanting."
Italia, loving those segments so much. It's been a wonderful week. Yes, a wonderful week, such a special time, and I love watching these. But you guys don't go anywhere just yet. Fix of the Mix is back with Morning Mix and Mingle. Bahamian music sensation Carissa Smith is here to talk about her music.
All right, and fingers crossed for nothing but sunshine for the rest of the week. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back with a look at your extended forecast. Our news this morning live from Margaritaville is back in a moment.
This is our news this morning. Welcome back. Well, I can't believe we're almost at the end of another show. Once again, we want to thank you at home for your company this week.
Yes, Nakia, well, we have a little more time left and still so much more to come. It was good to see Lawrence Rigby on the couch with you this morning.
Yeah, we had a great conversation. It was amazing to see him and his growth because, like I said, he was an intern when I was at NB12, so that was really, really exciting, and I wish him all the best moving forward. So impressive what he's been able to accomplish.
And great advice,
yes.
You know?
Yeah, great advice. We're winding down, but for one last time, we head over to our news correspondent Danielle Miller for our final Fix of the Mix in the Morning Mix and Mingle.
All right, and Danielle, we're going to miss waking up to you in the morning, but we know you've got someone special standing by with you. Everyone is so excited on set to see.
I'm definitely going to miss mornings here at Our News as well, but we're ending it with a bang with Carissa Smith. And I have to throw this in there. This is my high school alum.
Yes.
C.V. Bethel Senior High School,
yes.
the first Christian private government school of the Bahamas.
Hello.
That's where we're from. And Carissa, I want to take it back to the first time that I've ever seen you perform, and that was at the Jazz Bar. And I said, oh, this young woman is so sultry and so...
Oh, thank you.
Right?
I appreciate that.
And then I saw you on the independent stage perform.
Yes.
And you had this skirt on, and like you did...
You remember everything, girl?
Yes. And you looked like a young Josephine Baker, to tell you the truth, because it's difficult to sing and dance at the same time.
Definitely. It is.
And then I found out from you that you were actually studying to be a doctor.
Yes.
The entertainment industry is such a thankless job. It's long hours.
Yes.
It's tiresome on your body.
Yes, definitely.
To jump from being a doctor, which is a sure paycheck, to the entertainment industry I have to ask you, especially as a young person in the world that we live in today, why choose this career path?
Well, I was studying to be a doctor. I did biochemistry and COB at the time. I just felt like this was my calling. This is something I woke up and wanted to do. I felt excited about it every morning. You know, I'm all about fulfilling purpose, and I feel like this is what I was born to do. That I'm fulfilling purpose being a performer.
Despite, because a lot of persons look at the money aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're getting loads of cash, let's be honest now. But you had a performance last night and you're here this morning. And again, it's taxing on the body. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, there's always something that keeps people going. It's more about the money. So what is your why?
My why, the love of music. Like I said before, fulfilling purpose. I'm fulfilled every time I get on the stage. Like, I always leave with a heart full of gratitude. And I think that's what it's all about.
I agree. Thank you so much, Carissa.
Thank you.
We will see you later on in the show.
Yes.
Don't worry, it won't be a duet between us. It'll just be a solo.
We should, though. We should.
I'm excited to see you perform.
Yes.
And this has been, your final fix of the mix.
There you go.
Oh, thanks for that, Danielle. I'm actually sad to hear that it's the final fix of the mix, but I'm excited to hear Carissa. I've seen her perform before. Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to see her perform as well. I've seen her at the Jazz Bar. So to see her up close and personal this morning, I can't wait.
Yeah, all right. Well, we still have sunny skies out there in the capital this morning. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is back with the extended weather forecast. Greg, how we looking?
Pretty warm for the rest of the day. Of course, we do have some Saharan dust that's going to be moving into our area, so we're looking for the lessening of some showers right now across the northwest Bahamas. We still have some showers out there. We can continue to watch that as the surface ridge of high pressure continues to dominate our weather, and we expect the tropics to remain quiet. We are now into the second month of the Atlantic hurricane season, and we're going to see some more tropical waves moving across. We have a strong one approaching the Leeward Islands. That one is not going to show much in terms of any organization at this time. Taking a look at the boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas today through tonight, the winds will be mainly out of the southeast to south, 10 to 15 knots. They will fall like rebel at times. Your seas will be running 2 to 4 feet. High tide is at 11:51 this morning, and your low tide will be at 5:59 this evening. For the southeast Bahamas, winds are a little stronger, east to southeast, 15 knots, with some higher gust, seas running 3 to 5 feet over the open waters. And of course, we are asking you to exercise some caution out there. Of course, we are approaching Independence Day, so let's show you what's going to be happening Sunday night into Monday. Expected around 2 o'clock when we start Junkanoo. Temperatures will be a little on the warm side, 77 degrees, and by 5 a.m. still hanging around in the upper 70s. Maybe shave off a degree or two by the early morning hours, but we expect it to be mostly dry. As I said, some Saharan dust will be moving into our area. For the remainder of the week and into the weekend, and of course into next week, Independence Day being on Monday, 91 degrees, very hot temperatures. And we expect those temperatures continue throughout the remainder of the weekend into next week. Once again, we are urging you to exercise caution, take long breaks if you plan on doing anything on the outdoors, and make sure you drink lots of liquids. That's a look at our weather. Make sure you enjoy the rest of the weekend. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Greg. Looks like we may have a good chance to have a dry evening of Junkanoo. So morning of Junkanoo, I should say. So. Well, this is already starting to feel bittersweet as we come to the end of an amazing week on the road to 50 and celebrating 20 years of our news. We've had so many highs, welcoming back familiar faces. Jerome Sawyer, Giorgio Bing was here with us, Kyle Joaquin, and Andrew Knowles, who's back with us today. Guys, thanks so much for this week. What's been the best part of this week?
I just have to say that Tage has been complaining that we have not brought him to Margaritaville. So Tage Adley, of course, is our sports guy. Tage, welcome to Margaritaville.
It started as a bit, but at some point I became the mask and it got real and I really wanted to come back. I took it way too far.
We're happy to have you. For me, though, it's just been seeing everyone. And I just want to thank all of you who came, who participated, and even the staff who got up early in the morning and came. It's just been such a yeoman's effort, and we really, really thank you for coming and spending this time for us, and we hope the audience has enjoyed it.
Love the outfits.
Oh, yes, Everybody's looking so good. The Bahama handprints, yes, Bahama handprints. I was looking great. Andrew, it was good to see you. Danielle, it was fun working with you. Greg, it was good throwing it back and forth to you for the weather. I've had such a good time, and I'm so sorry to see it end now. But guys, that does it for us in Our News this morning. It has been an incredible journey filled with stories that have shaped our world, laughter, tears, and above all, the unwavering support of you, the loyal audience.
Yes, Nikki, and it's been an honor to be a part of your mornings, sharing the news that mattered most to you. We hope we've informed, inspired, and made a positive impact on your lives. To our producers, editors, technicians, and all of those who have worked tirelessly to bring this show, we extend our heartfelt gratitude.
So until we meet again, from all of us at Our News this morning, may your mornings be filled with joy and love for the next 50 years and beyond. We leave now with the sounds of Bahamian starlet Carissa Smith from the Essence Band singing "Oh, Look What You Do" by the late Ronnie Butler and Sweet Emily. Bye, guys.
Bye. I made it.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it was awesome. Good job, everyone.
Can be. This must be the greatest thing in life to have you here with me. I've been waiting for a long, long time. I can't believe it's true. It's good to be here by your side and dance along with you. Some people never will understand why I'm bursting with pride. All I know is I'm glad you're mine, and my feelings can't hide. I can't sit down and I'm turning round. Oh, look what you do to me. I'm in the mood and I'm feeling good. Oh, look what you do. It's on my face, wrap me round the waist, baby. Oh, look what you do to me. I go in and sing when I hear your name. Oh, look what you do. State of ecstasy, I'm happy as can be. This must be the greatest thing in life to have you here with me. I've been waiting for a long, long time. I can't believe it's true. It's good to be here by your side and dance along with you. Some people never will understand why I'm bursting with pride. All I know is I'm glad you're mine, and my feelings can't hide. I can't sit down and I'm turning round. Oh, look what you do to me. I'm in the mood and I'm feeling good. Oh, look what you do. It's on my face, wrap me round the waist, baby. Oh, look what you do to me. I go in and sing when I hear your name. Oh, look what you do. Come on now, hey! Woo! That's right. Hey, 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 hey. I'm glad you're mine, and my feelings can't hide. Can't sit down and I'm turning round, baby. Oh, look what you do to me. I'm in the mood and I'm feeling good. Oh, look what you do. It's on your face, wrap me round the waist, baby. Oh, look what you do to me. I go insane when I hear your name. Oh, look what you do. Bring your body over here. Oh, rub your fingers through my hair. Oh boy, you are so fine. Glad to know that you are mine. Running, baby. Hey, all right. Happy Independence, Bahamas.